Hey guys, welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Smash that like button, get your comments in for this video. It's going to be a heated rant again, unfortunately, because more evidence has presented itself as to the mysterious removal of David Coote for that league game between Leicester and Liverpool on the 18th of November 2020. So let me just update you with the timeline so far. So we were doing the show on DR Sports on Monday, and the video was leaked, which included, you already know what it included, right? It included David Coote calling Jurgen Klopp the C word, a German C word. He said that Liverpool are shit, etc., etc. And we thought, wow, it's definitely not sober in that video. All right. And first of all, he came out and denied it. Then he admitted it. He's been suspended. There's an investigation. And then last night, a video came out which was obviously sold to a publication which, as you know, I'm not even going to mention their name on this platform for sure, for obvious reasons. But the video came out of David Coote snorting a suspicious white powder, right? And he's filmed the video. And this video was taken this summer just gone after the Spain-Germany game in a UEFA-funded hotel. Where do you even start? I mean, we can go back to 2020 when the video was filmed. The first video that I'm talking about was filmed. And then on the 18th of November 2020, Sky Sports Premier League tweeted, David Coote will no longer be the video assistant referee for Leicester versus Liverpool. To which Gary Neville, of all people, quote tweeted it and said, that's strange, why? Now, as a Liverpool fan, I'm trying not to lose my rag a little bit here, because that season, obviously at that point, we were the champions of the Premier League, and Gary Neville was actually right to question that. Why did he get removed from VAR duties? It was strange, right? And at the time, you know, there's so many refereeing contentious decisions that they all kind of blur into one, especially over the last 5 years since VAR's come in. But Gary Neville was right to question it. I'm going to tell you why Gary Neville was very wrong later on in the video for what he said on the overlap. But it was strange. Why was he removed? And when you think about the timeline of these events, you can't help, right, but question the timing and the cover-up, if you want to call it that. So the initial video of him calling Jurgen Klopp a C word was filmed before this tweet came out. So any normal, rational person, now knowing all the evidence that's been presented in front of us, would ask, it's a bit strange that now we know with hindsight, we can say it was a bit strange because the video came out, or it didn't come out, sorry, and the Premier League have protected him and taken him off of a Liverpool game. And it wasn't until, you know, some time later that he was allowed back on a video, a game that Liverpool were involved in. So the question is, did the Premier League know? Did the PGMOL know? Did the powers that be know that this video was in existence, right? And they were trying to cover it up, so they pulled him off of the VAR for that Liverpool game against Leicester. Why was that? What did they know that we didn't know at that time? Now, it looks very bang on. I'll be honest with you. It looks like it is a big cover-up from the powers that be. So why was David Coote removed from VAR that day? What did the Premier League, the PGMOL, know that we didn't know? These are the questions that you now have to ask, right? I mean, listen, whatever happens to David Coote from here on in, there's just no way that he's ever going to be allowed to referee in the Premier League again. Not only has he brought shame and embarrassment and unprofessionalism and xenophobia and all these other charges onto himself, what he's done as well is brought a massive magnifying glass and a light now on the whole of the, not just Premier Leagues, but refs around the world. There are some other allegations which I'm not even going to attempt to cover now because it's not the right time or place. But if you were on Twitter last night, I think you know what I'm talking about. Some other allegations that go well far of just taking drugs, right? So I'm looking at him now. I can't even look at his face at the minute because it makes me so angry that this man, who clearly has an issue with not only Liverpool, the city of Liverpool. He doesn't like Evertonians. His friend, or not friend anymore, was in that video saying we all hate Scousers. So a lot of questions have to be asked. And do you know what? In a weird way, I'm glad that David Coote's last ever game was at Anfield. And I'm glad he managed to witness a Mo Salah masterclass, because guess what? That city that you have clear prejudice over, the city of Liverpool, is one of the finest cities in the world. Scousers are some of the finest people in the world, including my family as well. You know, I have to include that my family are all Scouse. What prejudice does he have against the city, the clubs from Liverpool, and why does he have that? And as we said, you know, in the video, the first one, we could see that he was under the influence, and now it's become clear, you know, exactly what he was under the influence with. And to do what he did, to film yourself doing that in a work environment when you're working for UEFA, begs the question now, why aren't referees drug tested? And Robbie made a great point on the show earlier. You know, was he high during games? Has that impacted his decision-making in games? And for Gary Neville, right, to come out on the overlap, and Jill Scott, to say that, nah, he should just not be involved in Liverpool games again. I mean, that is overlooking the fact that he's been xenophobic to a manager. It's overlooking the fact that even if you take him away from a Liverpool game and put him on, I don't know, Man City versus Wolves, we're challenging against Man City. So you can't have any involvement now, not only against Liverpool, but also teams in and around them that they're challenging. I mean, that's stupid to even suggest that from Gary Neville. He was right at the time to question why he'd been removed off of VAR, but he was very wrong to say that he should only be involved in games that don't impact Liverpool. It's ludicrous. And all these people that saying, oh, you call someone a C word, you get sacked the next day. If that was me, I'd be sacked. Yeah, but you're missing the point. He's called him a German C word. There's a difference. If you just go down the street and call someone a C word, right, and then you go down the street and call someone an Irish C word, a Nigerian, whatever country it may be, it's xenophobic, bordering on racism. So for David Coote to have never sent off a Manchester City player as well, by the way, just makes me sickened. It makes me angry. It makes me think, well, could we have won a Premier League if a couple of those decisions had gone Liverpool's way? That's all in the past now. We can't change anything. What we can do is, you know, try and impact the game positively now, right? Once all the dust has settled on this, right, and it's going to take a long time, the PGMOL have come under massive scrutiny for getting all of this just for their general poor decisions. When you look at the Australian League, a country that literally has probably only ever produced 20 odd decent players, right? Even the ref there can speak to the whole stadium. In cricket, in tennis, you know, in the women's game as well, in La Liga, they have automated offsides. Why do the PGMOL not want to bring in these things that will help them? Why? And I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, guys, but when this evidence is presented in front of you and you see the times of it, you see the dates of it, you see the decisions that have followed that, or maybe the decisions that haven't followed that, maybe more importantly from a Liverpool perspective, you got to ask the questions. And for him, if the Premier League knew, which they clearly did if they've taken him off VAR in 2020, the Premier League have known about this video. They've been hoping that this video won't come out. Right, I won't say the Premier League actually, because it's unfair to say that. The PGMOL are an independent body, right, that are hired by the Premier League to give the Premier League the best referees in the world to host and referee the best games in the world, right? If they knew about this, which they clearly did because they removed him, then the integrity is shot to pieces, right? The game has lost a big chunk of its integrity, its truthfulness, its neutrality, its fairness. All of that stuff is out the window. And of course it was Liverpool that this happened to. And of course, what we shouldn't do is just say this is a Liverpool thing. This should be a worry and a concern for every Premier League fan of any Premier League team. And to know that these referees, including Michael Oliver, who get paid by the UAE to referee games over there, and then come and not give a penalty against Man City, I'm getting tired of it. And the more I find out about David Coote, the more frustrating it is. The Premier League and PGMOL have come out and said that, you know, their importance now is making sure David Coote's all right. I mean, it's laughable. It's totally laughable. The word corruption springs to mind. The word unprofessional is clearly there. And let's not forget, you know, if he's doing that in his hotel room, which is funded by UEFA, during an international tournament where he's officiating, I mean, Germany could now build a case to say, well, why didn't you give that penalty on Cucurella? Were you high? Were you not compos mentis, as they say? So there's so many questions. And I mean, David Coote is just, like I said, there's other allegations, which I'm not going to touch on here, that came out last night and then they were quickly deleted. But the main question is, why was David Coote removed? It must be because the Premier League knew about this video. So, guys, it's difficult to really talk about this without getting enraged. I mean, we're on an international break right now. There's no way that I should be feeling like this. And, you know, like I said, I can't even look at him. I can't even look at this geezer at the minute because what he's done is just unacceptable, unforgivable. And who knows where this goes from here. It'll be interesting, and of course any more developments that we have, I'll give my opinion on them on the Kop TV. So that's the update for you. My main question in this video is, why was he removed from that day against Leicester? Big question that you have to ask there. Right guys, like this video, let's get your comments in. I'm sure we'll be talking about this on Monday as well on Hot Topics with Doyle, and we look forward to that. But if there's any more updates to this, of course, I'll be across them. I'll do another video, but do like the video. I'm going to give you a live subscriber count just because if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to make you feel guilty right now because we are on 48,411 subscribers at the time of recording. You know, we're only 1,600 away there from the big one, the 50K. So please help along. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video as I go and try and calm down from this whole escapade of David Coote. Take care.